Good evening. Welcome to Let Your Words Count. I am Gary Gantz here with Ethan Merriweather
Hello.
for Let Your Words Count, where we explore the meanings behind the words that shape our lives. Ethan, how you doing today, bro?
I'm doing pretty good, man. A lot on my mind thinking about this social media stuff. You know, we were talking about uh, quite a bit that goes on. Kind of fit into the word that we're talking about today, silence,
Absolutely.
and how effective it is, and how powerful it is, and how you can use it. And I can't wait till we get into it. I'm very excited about talking about this word today.
Absolutely.
You know, as far as other things going on, I have no complaints, man.
That's awesome.
Just be thankful to be alive.
That's
brother.
awesome, bro.
Yep.
That's awesome. Same, man. It's just a lot of things going on, man. We got a lot of, projects you and I are working on.
Yeah.
Many to be announced here soon. Again, we always doing, we got the clothing, we got the music stuff we're working on, the podcast. We're always here talking and trying to break down these words and help us to take our power back and help us to reclaim positivity out of some words and some experiences that can be negative. And we want to try to talk us through how to find growth and opportunity and potential, last week's word, as we go through our times and trials and things like that. So, as you said, here we are for episode 39. Crazy how many episodes we've gotten done in a relatively short period of time. We're here for episode 39 today, and the word of the day for episode 39 is the word silence. Is silence, as we alluded to earlier. If we have the definition we could put up on the screen.
Oh yeah.
Silence is the absence of sound or spoken word. It can refer to external quiet or internal stillness and is often associated with peace, secrecy, respect, or suppression. Okay, one more time. Silence is the absence of sound or spoken word. It can refer to external quiet or internal stillness and is often associated with peace, secrecy, respect, or suppression. Ethan, if you want to jump into the derivation and etymology of the word for us, please.
Oh yeah, for sure. Silence, etymology from Latin silent, tim, meaning a being silent. A being silent. That's interesting. Derived from salir, meaning to be quiet or still. It has long carried both physical and metaphorical meanings: stillness, secrecy, and restraint.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
One thing that I do want to add also is the emotional lens before we get started, right?
Please do. Yep.
So the emotional lens, feeling positive or negative. Positive is restful, sacred, grounding, and healing or healing.
I love it.
Negative, isolating, oppressive, dismissive. Okay? Why? Because silence can be chosen as in meditation or listening, or imposed as in being silenced. Its emotional weight depends on context and intent.
As
I think
with all
that's
the
very
words we
important.
found, right?
Everything, man.
Context and intent means everything.
Everything.
Yep. Yep. That is the pendulum that the positivity or negative aspect of the word swings on, right? It's the context and the intent behind it. All right. So, off the bat, what are, I'm copying somebody else's word. What are some of the thoughts that come into your mind? What's the initial feeling that's invoked for you when we talk about the word silence? Is that a positive or a negative feeling for you?
It's kind of balanced.
Okay.
I think it's a little balanced. You know, you and I were talking about silence earlier, and I think more for a negative side, I would say, instead of a positive side.
Okay.
But like I said, it's still more balanced. I think the percentages are very close, right?
Gotcha.
Because when I think about silence in some regard, I think that from a negative standpoint, I'm gonna talk about the negative first because I do want to get into the positive side. The positive is very important to me.
Sure.
From a silent side, it can be manipulative,
Yes.
right? Like how
You mean
people
from the negative side, right?
Huh?
From the negative
From
side.
the negative
Yes.
side, yeah, yeah. From my side, I'm gonna talk about the negative side first.
Absolutely.
So from the term like giving someone the silent treatment and different things like that, you're trying to control a conversation based off of your action to be silenced, to silence someone, just like the etymology was talking about, as far as silencing someone for speaking their thought. The very moment you do that, you're not allowing that person to share or communicate what's on their heart. And when you do that from a silencing standpoint, I think that's terrible, is negative, right?
Absolutely.
Even if you don't even agree with the person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you silence a person, even if you don't agree with an individual, at least you've given the person the floor.
That's right.
To be able to speak what's on their heart.
That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying?
That's right.
So that's what I look at it from silence being from that standpoint. The positive side, there's the word which's been very interesting and a common denominator in the last few episodes is healing.
I love it.
When you talk about silence, they're like utilizing that silence as a moment to reflect, mindfulness,
Right.
and to just calm all thoughts. Because now today, the way social media is today, how can there be silence?
That's true.
It's a lot of noise there. But I'm going to just stop right there and let you go ahead because I do want to eventually get to the positive side.
Absolutely. I mean, and you covered it well, right? Because when you talk about either the forced silence on somebody else, that's negative. That's not going to have a good feeling to it. When you talk about withholding communication or words from somebody as a means of manipulation, causing emotional harm, isolating someone, making them feel abandoned, making them feel some kind of way, right? All of these things can lead to a negative association with the word silence, right? And as you said, right, there's a way. Don't want to jump the gun too soon, right? But there's a way to address and approach silence in a way that that does bring clarity and growth to it. But we have to acknowledge that there is a very easy path, right, that kind of finds silence as a weapon to be wielded against somebody. Again, being silenced, and we know, like you said, social media is designed for this constant influx of conversation, communication, memes, images, thoughts from other people. There's this constant barrage of information, content, thoughts, opinions, and everything else being fired at you every second because the algorithm thrives on attention. It thrives on attention, and it finds silence as kind of the counterpoint. They want to keep. We've heard of like doom scrolling. We heard of all kind of things that kind of are used are new age words to use someone's addiction to devices or the inability to put a device down because the constant flow of information and thoughts, words, memes, everything else, it kind of traps, you know what I mean, our mindset and our attention, giving us these dopamine rushes and everything else to the point that it inundates your mind and again causes the negative aspect of. It's not even really the negative aspect of silence, but it prevents you from finding silence, right? You can't find enough silence in the world where you're consumed in social media. You can't find the silence that can bring some of these positive effects of introspection, of mindfulness, of seeking for peace and quietness, and whatever things that quietness can do for you. You're not even, if you're diving into this social media fed and manipulated world, it's difficult to find that kind of restful, positive silence in today's world, right? So.
No, that's pretty good, man. I agree. So do you think that silence is more of a mature aspect or a maturity, or is it a immaturity?
I think that a mature person uses it for good, right? If I'm trying to be mature, I guess I'll say spiritually mature, right? I'm not going to use silence as a means of trying to hurt somebody. I don't find benefit in the silent treatment. It actually gives me, I giggle a little bit if somebody tries to use a silent treatment against me because I kind of revel and value my peace and my quiet. So that's fine. If you're that upset that you don't feel like talking to me, I'm sorry you feel that way. When you feel better, you feel like talking, I'm here, but I enjoy my peace and quiet. So that doesn't bother me, right? So if I'm going to be mature, I'm not going to use silence as a tool to make somebody feel isolated or hurt or abandoned or whatever. If there is an opportunity to have a conversation. If I'm going to be spiritually mature, I'm going to choose to be silent if someone else needs to communicate something, get something off their chest, or if they need room and space to disclose something that they're feeling or to express themselves, right? So whether it's me choosing silence for myself or allowing silence for somebody else to speak, that's the way I'm going to try to use it as a spiritually mature person. And a spiritually immature person wants to silence you and will use silence against you to cause harm or to let you know they're upset at you, right? So it just depends on, again, as we said, it's the intent, it's the context, and how does it get used that makes the difference.
No, I like that,
right?
Because you said the spiritual maturity. I think that's very important for us to recognize. You know what I mean? And how powerful it is.
Absolutely.
Right? Like silence is powerful. Because we were talking about something earlier, and having my notes here is there a such thing as true silence? Remember we were talking about that. Is there a such thing as silence? And because if you're talking about your own thoughts, right, then there is no silence, right? You're gonna constantly have something going on in your mind, and is true silence, or is silence a concept that help us understand the difference between nothingness and noise? You understand what I'm saying?
I do. I love that thought. If I can jump in real quick, because I think that question that you asked is a very important one, because that is the question that the practice of meditation kind of hinges on, right? Can I manage to silence my mind enough to find that inner peace? But I think at the same time, not punishing ourselves if we can't find silence within. But I think that's the journey. That's the goal, is to learn how to increase the amount of time you can have internal silence, realizing that your mind is trained to want to go, you know what I mean? Be thinking all the time, be solving problems all the time. That's how we're wired and kind of designed and trained by society to work. So it becomes this personal challenge with great reward to learn to develop and discipline yourself to bring internal silence. It's a struggle. It's an uphill battle because our minds aren't wired to work that way. So training our mind to find that silence in order to find that peace, and depending on your spiritual views, maybe that peace brings you in communication with the Creator. It's an effort to get to that point because your mind wants to be going, bringing thoughts in, solving problems, like I said, or thinking about whatever it is you got to do the next day. Your mind constantly wants to be going, and it's full of noise. So it's a beneficial discipline to train yourself and to learn how to bring internal silence. Right?
I love that, man. Because I was thinking, as you were talking, I was thinking about the benefits of silence, even if it. Okay, so this may sound kind of strange, but I'm gonna put this out there.
All right.
From a negative and positive side, you can still win.
How do you mean?
There's no losses.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Because even if there's a silent treatment there, right, you can still win. You can still be mature enough to accept that someone is treating me a certain way, right? And but that's when, in my mind, that's when you would have to be mature enough within your being,
right,
to understand that this person that's doing the silent treatment is either manipulative or trying to control,
right,
or just lacking just decent behavior. You see,
absolutely.
The latter was the.
Yeah, I mean, because it's a way out, because some people use silent treatment maliciously.
Yes, absolutely.
But I think there's also a category of people who don't have a better tool in their tool belt to express their frustration, or can't find the words that they want to communicate to explain how they're feeling. So I believe some people genuinely, that's just the best they can do. And again, not looking down on people who are in that kind of position, but some people just, that's the best they can do. Can I say one more quick thing, and I'm gonna hand it back to you, because too, and I want to clarify further what I said earlier, I keep leaning into the microphone here, my bad. But, you know, I kind of stopped short of what that full explanation should have been. If somebody wants to use silent treatment against me, I'm not offended by it because I enjoy my peace and quiet. You know what I mean? I enjoy having, you know, this peace, you know, within, but I try to not end it there and like, oh, well, you don't want to talk to me, I'm done, and kind of go off and match the immaturity or match the feelings. I try to meet that with, hey, I understand if you don't want to talk or you're giving me the silent treatment, but I do want you to know if you're upset at me about something, you have to, if anybody knows me, you know, if it's somebody I care about, whatever it is you're upset about, you have to know I wasn't doing anything with the intent to harm you. And you have to know that when you're ready to talk, I'm here. Right? Because if there's some issue or anger or whatever, communication is going to help us resolve that. And if you refuse to communicate or don't want to talk, I can't force you to, right? But I'm here when you are ready to talk so we can resolve the issue. And the person that's willing to let go of the silent treatment, the sooner you're willing to let that go, the sooner we'll find resolution to the situation,
yes,
right?
Man.
So I should have added that in earlier.
No, that was awesome, man, because that's actually where I was trying to go. And I don't want to regurgitate.
No, go ahead, bro, please.
Because I think it's very important for us to mature.
Sure.
At the end of at the end of everything. Okay, so this is something that's vital.
Absolutely. Go
right.
Ahead.
So once you find yourself in a place where silence is the output, basically. Oh no. That's not the output yet. Silence is used as a tool.
Got you.
Okay.
Yep.
Is that that makes a little more sense? Okay. So what is your expectation afterwards?
Yes.
And that's the key. Is like in my mind is when you enter. So let's
I love it.
What is it? What is your expectations once you have channeled your thoughts within this this silent mode or whatnot, right? You know, what is the benefit that you feel by executing the silent treatment on someone? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely right.
Is it a pat on the back? Is it you saying, well, job well done, Ethan? I done a good job by treating this person this way.
I love it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like
yes, I do.
so we weaponize something like silence. So this is the key in my mind, man. This is beautiful, man. So when you weaponize something like silence was never meant to be utilized that way. I really believe silence was meant for harnessing growth.
Absolutely right. In
This
its best form, yes.
In its best form. This is when we get into the positive side. There's a negative connotation to inaction, right? To silence, right? Which causes limitations. And with that limitations, going back to what you said, as far as expressing, you know, your thoughts and different things like that, and manipulation, dude. Whenever there's manipulation, whenever there's self-serving in that aspect, then it's fleeting and it's limitations in that.
Yes.
I see you smiling. Go ahead, bro.
No, go ahead, bro. I want you to finish your thought. I interrupted you last time, bro.
No.
Please finish your thought.
No, because that's kind of what I was saying is that manipulation standpoint, and this actually goes into other thoughts. But go ahead, bro.
So just because as you were thinking, I started smiling because that I think you gave me the missing element to my previous statement. Why I stopped short of where I probably should have gone as far as if someone is giving me the silent treatment. I said there could be two different kinds of people, right?
Yeah.
There's a person who may just not have any better mechanism in their tool belt, then I'm upset. And rather than say something that's going to be mean or that I'll regret or whatever, I'm going to choose to be silent. That's the best thing they can do. They're not trying to be manipulated with it. On the other hand, there are people who use silent treatment as manipulation.
Yes.
And that's where I think I'm saying I'll let you know I'm here to talk when you're ready to talk, because if you have no better tool in your tool belt but silent treatment because you don't want to say something wrong, you don't know what to say, you don't know how to express your thoughts right then and there, I'm going to give you time. Give you time to think about it so we can have a productive conversation and move past this issue for whatever it is. If, on the other hand, you are a person that tries to use the silent treatment for manipulation, and I've had this done to me so many times, that's where my initial response is, if you don't want to talk, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm here whenever you're ready to talk, because I refuse to be forced into that position where somebody tries to manipulate you with silent treatment to make you feel like you've you have to submit.
Yes.
Like you have to apologize, or like you've done something wrong and force you to come and approach them with, I'm so sorry. I didn't even know what I did wrong because you're being silent to me, but I'm going to go and apologize to you and beg your forgiveness and beg you to talk to me. And for some people, that's how they get the upper hand in the situation, is by manipulating with silent treatment. So I choose to, as a protection mechanism for myself and against manipulation, if you give me the silent treatment, I'm going to ask you one time, what's going on? Do you want to talk about it? And if you continue to give the silent treatment, I'm going to tell you again, if I've done something wrong, I didn't intend to hurt you, but I'm not about to come begging for you to talk to me when you have chosen to give the silent treatment, because I don't know if this is the best tool you have. Or are you trying to manipulate me into coming to you and begging your forgiveness and kind of coming in submission so you can have the upper hand? I don't know. And whenever we start talking, this is the thing, until we begin communication, I can't really glean what your intent is with your silent treatment. So I'm going to kind of reserve myself until we can talk. That's going to be the only way out of that situation. But unfortunately, some people use it for manipulation. Some just don't have any better mechanism. And in order to kind of protect myself and not do something I'm going to regret, I'm here to talk whenever you're ready. You know, I wouldn't do anything that's intentionally trying to harm you. Let's talk whenever you're good to talk, right?
Man,
but I'm not going to come and let you just force me into coming and whining like a little puppy because you're giving me the silent treatment, and I got to kind of force myself into submission. I don't operate like that. So sorry about that. Go ahead.
No, you fine, man. Because you know, as we were jotting down notes, I wrote the word escapism, right? Because we were thinking about what people try to do in order to avoid further communication.
Wow.
Escapism. So
right.
So and I think the escapism part is I would say they lack the words, they lack the communication skill, they lack able to articulate a thought in order to produce enough.
Have a productive conversation. Absolutely.
It's true, because
it is. Yeah.
You know what? The whole point of us doing this show is so we can articulate.
That's right.
And communicate a lot
That's
better.
Right.
So if anybody's online that feels that they're lacking that, you're not the only one.
That's right.
All right. So
right.
so the whole point is us trying to develop a heart, a mind, and logic so we can understand how to communicate to one another. So another thing you said right here that was very interesting. Don't give them an excuse. So you're basically saying that I see that you're trying to escape, right? But I'm letting you know, if you have to talk, I am here. Don't try to leave and use and execute silence in a negative way when I'm giving you the opportunity to use silence properly.
I love that.
When you walk away, you can meditate in mindfulness. The strategy here is to open up dialogue, right? So when you walk away from this conversation, you can peacefully enter into mindfulness.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And there'd be no regret. It's not like you're hurting my feelings, because I don't operate like that anyway. So don't assume that I'm operating that way.
Right.
The door is open.
Right.
I have an open door policy. So I love that, man.
Yeah, for sure. Because that's one of those important aspects of communication, right? It's like, and I love that if my wife and I, you know, if we have something kind of brewing or whatever between us, and if one of us tries to go and talk about it, I love that we have the kind of communication where we could just say, yes, there's something on my mind. I'm not ready to talk about it, or don't really know how to put the words together yet. So give me time, and we'll talk about it. You know what I mean? Because again, that lets you know you're not trying to just be manipulative and trying to use me or trying to make me come beg your forgiveness for something I don't even know I did. It just says I need some time, some of that good silence to kind of formulate my thoughts, emotionally process, and be ready to have a productive conversation after that.
Bro, that's powerful, man. Hey, so that's maturity, and that's what we're talking about. Let's. There's two sides to every word,
right?
And you're dealing with people.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And people are already fragile. We're fragile, emotional creatures.
For sure.
But we don't want to operate in our emotions. We want to operate in such a way where good can be the end result out of every decision that we make.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Another thought we had from a psychological standpoint, you and I, we worked in the automotive industry, I still work. No, it kind of way you still
a little
do
bit, but I kind of escaped a little bit. Go ahead, bro.
And so, we've had these chambers,
Yes.
anechoic chambers,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
We do like NVH and different things like that,
So
right?
noise, vibration, and handling, right? For
Yeah,
those
go
who are
ahead.
not in the industry, when
Yeah.
you test vehicles or vehicle parts, and you need to measure how loud some of these parts are, because some
Yes.
cars win awards for being quietest on the road, things like that. We have noise, vibration, and handling chambers where parts and vehicles are tested to measure the sound and the kind of situation you have the environment you got to create for that. A big soundproof room, wall, ceilings, floor, everything is padded and conditioned in a way where it absorbs sound and it gives your sound measuring instruments the cleanest data points,
Yeah,
right?
yes,
So that's an anechoic chamber. Yep.
Yeah, man. I'm glad I don't have to say nothing else.
You good, bro?
No,
You good?
No,
but you got to point to it though. Yeah.
So we was taught you have this chamber.
Right.
Just imagine this huge chamber with cones and cushions and different things like that, absorbing all the sound. Right. You can walk in there. It's no echo.
Crazy
whatsoever.
feeling.
It's a crazy feeling when you walk in there. So, G and I was talking, but Gary and I was talking about this a little bit because he understands the experience, and I had the experience of walking in these chambers. They say you have to be careful when you walk into this chamber. After around 45 minutes, psychologically something goes wrong with you.
Don't
right?
let somebody lock you in.
Go ahead, bro.
Said don't let somebody lock you in. Go ahead, bro.
Man. If you get what it is there's an effect that happens into our minds psychologically because our minds are used to external sound, right? So if you remove that sound away, there's an effect that happens to us, right? There's a chance of hallucinations and different things like that. You can look it up and fact check. If you don't believe me, fact check it, okay? The reason why I wanted to bring that up is, are you prepared for silence? That's one of the questions that I wanted to ask, is how in our lives we want all the noise to be depleted, to be gone, to be removed. But the question, or erased, but are we actually prepared for how powerful silence really is?
That's beautiful.
You see, okay, I'm going.
No, go ahead, bro. I want.
Yeah, because I was just thinking about, you talk about traffic. You talk about, I mean, if you just calm down right now where you are, and you just sit in silence, you're going to hear the tick-tocks of a clock. You're going to hear the beeping of horns. You're going to hear all types of things. Just your computer running. You're going to hear all types of things. Just eliminate all that. If it's all eliminated, there's something psychological is going to happen to you. The question that I have, and I'm asking it, are you prepared for that silence? Are you prepared for what's going to come within your psyche in those moments?
I love it.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think I was thinking about, as you were talking about that, right? The image that came to my mind was Will Smith in I Am Legend, right? When he's walking in the city, and it's like you hear the city that you're used to seeing buzzing with noise and lights and everything else, and it's abandoned, it's completely desolate. And just the impact of what it was to be walking down a New York City street with zero sound, zero people, nothing out there. And then occasionally you hear the sounds of nature. But from a place where you're used to hearing so much ambient noise, the absence of it was, caught your attention. So are we kind of into the positive kind of side of it now?
Absolutely.
We exhausted?
I would say this. We're definitely getting into the positive side because right now I think we should prepare the people for what silence really looks like. You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely. So, and I can
Go ahead, bro.
I can only speak for myself in this regard, because again we've both been very open about our work in history and ministry and things like that, and I've kind of talked a little bit about where my mindset has kind of gone recently, but silence and my relationship with the Creator has had a big impact on my mindset. And especially from the way I perceived things, not putting blame on anybody else, me looking internally to kind of what I had expected in some cases versus what reality of the situation was. I was wrong in the way I perceived a lot of things and perceiving silence when that wasn't really what was going on. But in that journey and my journey with silence and learning how to take something that I perceived as a negative, isolated, or abandoned kind of silence and learning how to use that in a positive way. And in what way do I mean? I can only speak for myself personally, but in my upbringing, I ended up kind of, the way my mind developed, I perceived prayer as your mind constantly, like during the time you're praying, your mind is constantly trying to find things to say to state the things that you're looking for, that you want, your submission to God and all these other things. I viewed prayer from what I witnessed. I thought I'm supposed to fill my mind with as many testimonies and scriptures and be talking the whole time I'm praying. And that, in my experience, in my mind, the other side of that was I perceived silence from the Creator because my mind, again, cause and effect in my own analysis for my situation, me using my prayer time to be talking so much, I felt God was silent because I didn't realize I had to be silent within in order to give the Creator room and time to talk. So my own personal journey, right, was kind of going from this mindset of, okay, it's time to pray and blah, 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 blah. It's like just nonstop spiel of kind of just this fountain of words coming out. And again, all the testimonies and repeating the phrases and the admonitions and the verses and everything else, and never allowing time for silence for me in order to hear that there was something else being communicated to you. And to realize sometimes how inefficient. Another way I kind of undercut myself was expecting communication to come in the form of words, not realizing how inefficient words really are to convey a thought or an emotion. It's the lowest, most base form of intelligent communication. You can communicate so much more with a feeling, with an emotion, and there's just a lot of kind of things you can layer on top of that. But that's just, again, kind of my own personal journey where it was a very negative experience with silence initially. And it's become one of the most important and foundational things for me spiritually modern day.
Beautiful, you know
what I mean?
Man. Beautiful, man. I don't have to say nothing else after that. That was beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Because one thing that we were talking about earlier was God's silence. The way we view God's silence may not be silence the way God sees it.
Bro.
You see
Absolutely.
what I'm saying?
That was me all day. Yep.
Yeah, and I think it's very important for us to, if you're talking about the eternal one,
yes,
the one exists because he exists,
right,
the creator,
right,
his development is so the way he develops us. I said his development.
I know what you meant.
You know what I mean?
I know what you meant. Yep.
The way he develops us is, it may not be, it's not a one size fit all.
Right.
There's going to be similarities or whatnot,
Absolutely.
but God is going to meet us the best way he knows how to communicate to his individual creations.
Absolutely.
The creatures.
Yep.
You know, there's going to be similarities, but I do believe that God is going to meet you in the ways that can cause one to properly digest what he's trying to show you, you know, because he cares.
Right.
And it's meaningful.
Right.
You know, so when you look at that silence in my mind, you know, I think that is such a powerful, and like I said earlier, it's such a powerful tool that it's dangerous at the same time if it's used improperly. You know what I mean? And that's why I really wanted to, we really want to talk about this, is when you enter into that silence mode, be mindful and intentional. Be absolutely intentional with what silence is
receptive.
And what it looks like. Yes, exactly.
Absolutely.
Because like you said, that like even I do, you know, I understand completely what you're talking about, like with prayer. With prayer, just be intentful. And another thing is about your heart. It's not about the multitude of
Right,
man. The
right.
scripture tells you a fool is known by the multitude of his words. That's including in prayer.
That's right.
And
That's
I
right.
think what happens sometimes, and this is just me, the way this person escapes into silence, some people escape in talking too much.
I love it.
They fill it. They filling in the gaps when you need to just shut up.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Silence is a beautiful thing. For
sure.
You know, and I think that it's so much to learn about mindfulness, about being mindful and intentful when it comes to silence. It's not even funny. You know,
That's great, bro.
I think we need to press on it a little bit further.
sure,
You know,
for sure.
Go ahead, bro. I'm done.
No, so it's you said a lot of good things there, bro. It's like I think that it's important. You talked about earlier, right? Like when we were in the intro to the show, you talked about how healing has continued to come up as we've been kind of, we kind of spend, for the audience, we kind of spend a little bit of time kind of talking about the word, even doing a little bit of research before every show, right? So we kind of spent some time discussing our ideas on a couple of different things. So we were kind of talking about, yes, healing has continually popped back up in the discussions and in these kind of brief studies before we go into some of these words. But as we were doing some of that today for silence, and I kept seeing the word communication come up. And at first it was a little bit jarring and kind of like I felt like some friction, like, wait, why are you bringing up silence as a means of communication? It's the absence of communication, not really understanding or grasping up front that it does fit, but it's like you said, it's that intentional silence. It's well-placed silence for a purpose. Because in terms of how can silence be a part of communication? If I come to you, and this kind of ties back to what I was saying about prayer, right? If I want to have a conversation with Ethan and I sit down and I say, hey, Ethan, how you doing? How are you doing today? Have you been doing anything new, anything brand new in your life? Did you have coffee this morning? What'd you have for breakfast? What'd you have for lunch? What are you going to have? If I keep talking and talking and talking, there is no two-way conversation between us, right? So silence as a part of communication means, Ethan, how are you doing? And I have to shut up to allow you time to speak and to make it a two-way conversation. So meaningful words are being exchanged between the both of us. So silence is me recognizing, all right, I asked the question, shut up and let him speak, and give him time to express his thought, his feelings, whatever it is that he wants to say. And then once he's done, then I can say something else, but having been listening and not just waiting for the opportunity to say my next part. But that's, I kind of had to think on it a little bit that, yes, silence is a critical part of meaningful conversation. And again, same thing for prayer. If I'm spending all this time saying, God help me, God give me this answer and help me understand this and tell me this and tell me that, you got to shut up. If you don't shut up and give God time to speak or give a friend time to speak, there is no two-way communication. It's just you spouting off at the mouth all the time, and it's not a real conversation.
Yeah,
right?
that's that immaturity again.
Absolutely.
It goes to immature. You
feel or lack of experience sometimes too,
okay,
right?
there you go.
Yeah.
I actually like that better.
Yeah.
Another thing is irresponsible.
Yes.
There's a responsibility that you can't you haven't grasped.
Right.
In some type of way.
Right.
Like so I love that because my wife tells me that quite a bit. She says when you talk, pause, right?
Right.
And I think that that's very important because you allow people to actually digest what you're saying. For sure. Right. So if you give people the opportunity to digest what you're saying, now we can have a further conversation. You can articulate a little bit better, or if you're missing, give them an opportunity to say that they don't understand what you're saying. You see? So if you just, like you said, if you spewing out of your mouth, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, I think, I'm really not trying to offend anybody, man, but I think a lot of times the way we were raised in a church at times is really done a disservice, and it causes people that I feel I'm being very careful.
We were taught to weaponize it, bro.
Yeah, that's true. Oh man, the silence too. Yes, man. That's the reason why I wanted to talk about the weaponization. Like silence is so powerful to me that the question is, how do I want to approach this? Who do I want to be while I'm using this word silence? You say, how do I, at the end of silence, what am I going to become? What am I becoming? You know? And so, am I becoming a better creature in the sight of God and man, of course, right? Or am I being something that is misusing a beautiful tool as silence for my own purposes and agendas?
That's right.
You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
So when you talk about the way the disservice and you talk about weaponization, have we taken time to take a step back? Have we taken enough time to take a step back and really see what the outputs of this action is with the words we believe?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
right.
And so that's where I'm like, wow, man.
That's right.
You know, I'm being more and more mindful and careful with the words that I choose to use coming out of my mouth and the way I meditate on. You know what I mean? But go ahead, bro.
No, it's been the same for me, man. And like I said, it's just, you know, it's been a journey of realizing a lot of my faults, a lot of my missteps, just throughout my life. And again, talking about healing again, right? Allowing myself time to heal from things I regret that I did and the way I handle certain situations, right? And weaponizing silence at some points in time. But, you know, and you know, again, we've talked about this enough times that the thing that means a lot to me now is spiritual empowerment. Rather than tying to traditional religion in the way that we kind of view it, I believe that our relationship with the Creator is supposed to be one of spiritual empowerment. So in that empowerment, again, our reason for the show is to convey empowering words to people, is to convey edifying words, edifying meaning words that can build people up. I've spent time weaponizing silent treatment. I've spent time saying words that could be harmful to people. And I've spent time feeling the results and the effects of being that kind of person. And I wasn't satisfied with what I was. So that me sitting in silence after that and asking myself, Gary, is that the kind of person that you want to be?
That's it, man.
Caused me to reflect and realize that there was different things I had to do. And I had the choice to kind of turn and focus my attention on being edifying to people. You have the freedom, the ability all day long, if you choose to weaponize silent treatment for whatever reason, whatever benefit you feel it gives you. You have the choice to speak your mind no matter how it affects somebody else. And you could even look at it as, well, it's your problem, not mine. And it could be.
It's terrible.
But I've spent enough of my time being on the giving end of hurtful words or hurtful silence that I don't choose for that to be my path anymore. And again, it doesn't mean that I won't speak words that may hurt or may offend somebody. It's just I would ask everybody for grace and assume goodness and know that if you are hurt by something that I say that's not my intent, and let's talk about it, because if we can talk about it and I would give you time to express, gee, what you said was hurtful, was painful, whatever, I'm going to apologize because I don't have any need, any benefit in causing anybody any harm. I've done that long enough that that's not my intent and I don't find any benefit and satisfaction in doing that. So I would apologize if I've done something to hurt somebody, because, you know, it's about figuring out ways to empower people with these words and realizing that, you know, we can reframe silence to where we can, you know, it doesn't always equate to isolation and emptiness. You can
Very good.
reclaim silence to make use of it, to create space for somebody that you're talking with, or a friend or a loved one, to communicate back to you, to create space for understanding, to create space in that silence for you to grow, or silence for another relationship to somebody else to grow by allowing them to share also what's on their mind. And it allows space for peace, right? So, but it has to be an intentional effort to say that this thing that may be used by some people for negative things, I'm going to choose to use it for good and empowering and edifying things for myself and for those, you know, that I care about in my life, right? Man,
so that's awesome, G. Well, that's it for me. I think you said that You're spot on with that, brother. Yep.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, man. I hope you guys really enjoyed the show about silence. Just think about it. One of the thoughts we had was as far as a call to action, what are you guys going to do with the silence now that you're exercising this word a little bit? And if you're not exercising the word, try it sometime. Be intentful with this word. And if you are doing that, consider the other person that you're doing this to and how they feel, and is it working? Is it working on the positive? Is it working on the negative? What are you becoming in the process? But that's it for me. This is Ethan Merriweather.
Gary Gant.
We're signing off. Let your words count. Please like, share, subscribe. God bless you. See you next week.
All right.